No, this is not a documentary about Grandma Spleen.
我會記住呢一度，永遠都會。
Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Clarence John Anglin, and this is my review of With Prisoners. With Prisoners is Andrew Wong's directorial debut. He's been an assistant director on a dozen films, including Fatal Contact, Flashpoint, and Sifu vs. Vampire. Based on a true story, With Prisoners is a look inside Hong Kong's juvenile detention system. In Hong Kong, that means people between the ages of 14 and 25. Neo Yao, who played a secondary school student in She Remembers, He Forgets, plays a young gang member who gets in trouble with the law and is sent down for 3 months. Kelvin Kwan plays a young prison guard, struggling to find a place between his jaded colleagues, played by Raymond Chu and Joseph Lee, and the young men he is tasked with monitoring. He also has to find time to spend with his wife, played by Ashina Kwok. Gil Singh plays the warden of the facility, and it was nice to see him playing a straight dramatic role instead of providing comic relief. And that's not about him at all, it's about the way that people who aren't Chinese are often portrayed or used in local film. I was lucky enough to attend the premiere of With Prisoners at the Grand Cinema. My seat was in the second row, so it was almost like watching it in IMAX. The only reason that's relevant to the review is because the cinematography is such an important part of the movie. The way the movie is shown on a visual level contributes to the story itself. It's not a spoiler to say that juvenile detention is a highly unpleasant experience. It sucks a bag of whatever genitalia you would find most unpleasant to nosh. Oh, sorry. That unpleasantness is an objective reality, is delivered to the audience. I really admire and appreciate the way that this theme is conveyed in the film. I enjoyed the technical side of With Prisoners because it often serves to make a cinematic point implicitly. The situations that happen in the movie aren't necessarily cinematic. The dialogue is refreshingly realistic, at times reflecting the unavoidable banality of the real-life counterparts of movie characters. With Prisoners is thankfully devoid of the typical melodrama we often see in local movies. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy that melodrama as much, if not more, than The Next Person, but it would have been wrong for this movie. So instead, With Prisoners, as an audio-visual experience, often becomes the way that the dramatic impact is both achieved and delivered. I can't really explain it, but if you see this movie, you'll understand what I mean. There's not a lot of cinematic dialogue or very obvious music cues that are supposed to give you an emotional response. Instead, the camera simply documents, often in uncomfortably close and long takes, the brutality, emotional trauma, and just life nonsense that the characters go through. The camera doesn't flinch or look away, and as a consequence, neither can you. I enjoy movies that can make me uncomfortable, and many moments in With Prisoners are squirm-inducing. Another reason I really like the technical aspect of With Prisoners is the way that the camera angles, visual effects, and sound cues are used to convey emotional states of the characters or to just make the viewers uncomfortable. One particular sequence was very difficult to watch because it effectively conveyed the character's emotional turmoil, and it was just unpleasant. But it was very real, and I appreciated it. The pacing of With Prisoners isn't slow, but it is deliberate. It's not as deliberate as an An Hui film, but it's definitely slower than most commercial films. Now, I have the attention span of a chipmunk with a meth problem, but I was never bored or impatient watching this movie. Like I said before, the way the movie makes you sit in situations longer than you might want to is an integral part of the story itself. With Prisoners might make you feel uncomfortable, but that's what it's trying to do, and frankly, I'll take uncomfortable over bored any day of the week. With Prisoners is definitely not boring. I had pretty high expectations for this movie, probably because I wanted to like it. Having seen it, I don't think I would really call it a likable movie. It's important, and it's interesting, and it's very well made, but it's not an easy watch because of the subject, so it would feel funny to say that I like it or you'll like it. I mean, it's good for you, but you probably won't have fun watching this movie. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't see it. You should. I can easily recommend With Prisoners because there's so many good and interesting things going on in it. For example, more than one of the secondary characters in the movie are portrayed by the people whose experiences form the basis of the film itself. If you sit through the end credits, you'll find out exactly who those people are. I think a lot of people should watch With Prisoners, if only because it's very different and kind of unique for Hong Kong. It's not a very commercial film, but it is a very good film. It conveys a message. It touches on political and social issues without belaboring the point. And I just think that it's the kind of film that deserves a lot of attention. Whether or not it gets it is up to you. I would strongly encourage people to watch this movie in the cinema because on a big screen it has an impact you just won't get, watching it on your phone. But if you don't get a chance to see it in the cinema, wait until you could rent it or buy a disc or otherwise pay for the privilege of watching movies. Don't steal it. And as long as we're talking about spending money, please do me a favor. Click on the link to my Patreon page, because for just a couple of dollars a month, you could make me watch a Barbara Wong movie, and you know I don't want to do that. When With Prisoners gets released to home video, I'll update the description with a link where you can buy a copy. If you enjoyed my review, please let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If you enjoyed the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.